Welcome to the Luxe Leap. My name is Reland Logan, and we chat with women that lead businesses, making bold moves, big wins, and the secrets to extraordinary branding. So I have a question. What if your brand could be both beautifully bold and deeply meaningful? That's exactly the kind of magic that Rachel Honeyman brings to the table. She's the founder of HoneyBeBold, a branding, web design, and content marketing agency that helps mission-driven female entrepreneurs cut through the noise and make their biggest impact yet. With over 15 years in content marketing and a black belt in messaging clarity, Rachel is a master at helping women articulate what they do, why it matters, and how to attract their dream clients with confidence. When she's not crafting standout brand narratives, you'll find her practicing martial arts, teaching women self-defense, or spending time with their two pet rabbits, Luna and Lupin. Please welcome the bold, brilliant voice behind brands that don't whisper, they roar, Rachel Honeyman. Hi, Rachel. How are you?
Hi, Raylan. So excited to be here.
Oh my
Thank you
goodness.
for having me.
Of course. It's always a party when there's the two ladies with an R around. So let's just jump into it and give the folks some context at home. What inspired you to start HoneyBeBold?
Oh, so many things. It's like such a journey. I always wanted to start a business. That was kind of always my plan, but I really wanted to do it in the right way. You know, a lot of people just kind of jump in and they're like, I want to start a business, and they don't necessarily have the idea of what it is that they want to build. I had a pretty clear picture of what I wanted to build. I wanted to build a team. I wanted to build something really deeply meaningful. And so I was very intentional. It took me about 12 years of working for other people before I felt ready to take the leap and start my business. And I was super intentional pretty much the whole time about like what jobs I would take on to fill in the skill gaps that I knew that I had to be able to run the type of business that I dreamed of. And so that was kind of the backstory. And then when I finally took the leap, the Lux Leap, we'll say, when I finally, I'm gonna throw lots of puns in. Sorry,
I love it because I'm quite the punny girl.
I'm an inner dad. Like that's at heart. I was meant to be a dad. So I went through a really, really tough season. And honestly, I'm still in it. Like it's been a really not smooth journey. My husband and I went through over 5 years of fertility treatments. And ultimately we realized that parenthood was not in the cards for us. And so about 3.5 years ago, we decided to stop that journey, which was very much the right decision for us, but a very, very difficult decision and something that I'm going to be living with for the rest of my life. But about 6 months after we made that decision was when I decided to finally take the leap and start my business. And it's so intertwined with my story because I was just in this really dark period of my life, but I was craving meaning and craving something that would allow me to really nurture. And that was what I was craving so deeply. And so that's a very long-winded answer, but that was really the start of HoneyBeBold was this like need to nurture and grow something that was bigger than myself and more meaningful than I could do working for someone else.
That's incredible. And I mean, amazing. I'm on the flip of that. I was told I would never really be able to have kids, and now I have one. So, and that's all we'll ever have. Just so we're all clear, I had chalked it up to I would never have children, and I accepted that. And then I got a Grayson, and Grayson's 3 kids in one. So if you ever want to borrow him for a day, it'll give you enough. I promise. At least he's fun. So when you think back to those moments, and you actually kind of shared like what that pivotal moment was that got you to take the leap, but was there another pivotal moment since you've been in business that has really defined where you are today?
Yeah. So I actually, when I launched my business, I had a different name for the business, and
Oh.
it looked very different than it does today. So I launched as Honeyman Creative Solutions, which like, blah, it's so boring.
As two brand people, we're both like, oh yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, okay, my last name's cute, but like that basically sounds like a law firm. Like, I don't know, it's not for me. So, about a year into launching my business, I was feeling like very unsure of like the first year in business, I feel like it's just one big experiment where you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to figure it out. And so I was kind of taking on anything that came my way and really through trial and error figuring out where I wanted to go. And I had one client who came to me who it was like such a turning point where she said to me, I've been following you on LinkedIn. I love what you're putting out there. I love your vibe. I want to launch a business and I don't have a website and I don't have a brand. I have a logo, but like nothing beyond that. So I was like, okay, I can do this. And up until that point, my background is in content marketing. That was most of what I had done, but I had a, you know, pretty good technical chops up until that point. I've worked in web for almost 16 years. And so I was like, yeah, I can build you a website. I can do brand. I can do this. And it wound up totally changing the direction of my business. And I wound up going through a full rebrand. I guess it was last March. So like a year and a half into business,
Right. I remember
almost a year and
this.
a half ago. Yeah, you were there for my rebrand.
Was.
And yeah, I went through this whole rebrand. I'm now HoneyBeBold and really defined my niche, which is mission driven women, really defined who I want to work with. And now I've kind of come back to my roots in content marketing while still leaning into the branding and web design side of things. But it's just much more intentional. And my brand now feels like not just this afterthought, it feels like this very deeply meaning driven piece of who I am. Like it's so enmeshed in who I am. And it's, yeah, that was like the turning point for sure.
Oh my goodness. I forgot that that was your business name. Wow. I mean, it's been a year and a half, what, or
Yeah.
so now?
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny how long you like know people and then don't realize how long you've known them. But funny enough, I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, but when I started out, I was a social media marketing agency and I low-key
Oh.
hated it. And like never made any money. That's always the
Mm-hmm.
story that I always tell people is like, yeah, a good month was 2,500. And then somebody pointed out that I was better at brand, and that's what I wanted all social media clients to have, and they didn't. Flipped it in like 90 days, started having 15K months, like that
Wow.
fast. It's just amazing what happens when things are in alignment with what your skills are. It's a beautiful thing. But
Yeah.
that's why I love branding, because you
Yeah.
can get people in alignment with who they are and how they're seen. It's just a pretty beautiful thing that we do.
It is. And I'm so with you. I have worked in social media in some form or fashion for most of my career. And I would say that I do it a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's not the thing that I offer. And I certainly am not doing social media management. Like I do some content creation for people, but yeah, I don't know. The world of social media has also just shifted so much. Like when I started in it 15, 16 years ago, it was like so easy to build a following and build a brand on social media. And now it's just like, oh my God, it's such an uphill battle and it's so demoralizing. Like,
Social media went from being like the cute young girl with her cell phone, like, yeah, I'm here for the vibes. I got everybody coffee, cheese. And now it is literally a whole department. It's a whole department. Like you need
yeah,
somebody who knows social media analytics. You need somebody who does the content piece of it. You need somebody who does the whole community management piece of it. Like hell, you need somebody to do internal community management if you are within a company. Like
Yeah.
and then you have to know all the different, you know what? I digress. Clearly, I don't love it. Don't call either of us to do your social media management. We have other people we can refer you to.
Yes.
We're not your girls. We're really good at the other parts. But hey, you need our parts before you can ever do the social media part. So
It's true.
don't skip
Yeah.
us. So let's look into the future. I mean, you've had highs, lows, all the things that come with lifing while owning a business. And, things that are very particular to being a woman in business. And I don't think we should ice skate over that. Like fertility, just even to being a mom, like those things, it's effing hard. All right. Like we don't always talk about the invisible labor that we hold as business owners and women, but holy guacamole and cheese, do we hold a lot.
Yep.
It's unfair. Life's not fair, we know. Roll my eyeballs. But yesterday I hosted a roundtable called Wine and Wine. And every woman came in the usual way. Many times we show up to spaces, just like, okay, well, how can I not make my problem that big? How can I navigate this space? And I'm over here being like, no, whine about it. Like somebody actually just pop the cork and just complain.
Yeah.
We can find solutions in your complaints, but first you just gotta let it go. So, you've had all those moments. They've led to this extraordinary brand, HoneyBeBold. I say all of those things to say, what are your long-term goals for expanding your brand's impact from here?
Yeah, it's such a good question, and I'm actually I'm in this new business coaching program now that we're doing a lot of um, it's funny because I'm not such a woo-woo inclined person, with no shade to anyone who is. Like I really I'm such a everyone should do what speaks to them, and everyone should believe what they believe, and that's cool. It's just not my natural inclination. This program is a little more woo-woo inclined than I normally kind of let myself be, and it's actually been such a powerful experience because one of the exercises was creating a cosmic shopping list of how do I want my life to look
Okay, all
and
right.
writing it in this very I have this, my business looks like this, my life looks like this, right, in very present terms. And it's a lot of manifesting type of stuff. But it's been a cool experience. So I'm very much in that mode. I'm just giving that context to
Typical
say
you.
you're asking this at the right time because I'm actually have given this a lot of thought. So
You're normally I'm very pragmatic, Ray. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I mean, I'm very much in team building mode right now. I just brought on a marketing intern. I just hired a copywriter. I'm really have big big goals for kind of the coming year. I'm actually planning to launch a coaching program. One of the big things that I did this past year. And actually, this kind of ties into another pivotal moment that I have gone through. It's so funny because I'm coming up on 3 years in business, and the number of pivotal moments that I've had, I don't, it's
yeah.
a little mind boggling. Like, how in just 3 years, how have I had so many pivotal moments? But it's
I'm 2 years
crazy.
ahead of you and they keep coming. They keep
Yeah,
coming.
they keep coming. So, about this time last year, I was basically ready to shut down my business. Things were not working. Like the math wasn't mathing. I was just in a really rough spot in my business. And even though I had already gone through the rebrand and things were starting to tick up, um, my finances for the year 2024 were shit. Am I allowed to
Yes,
curse on this? I
you can
assume
say
so.
them all.
Okay. Really garbage. And I was just this is it's really stressful to run a business, right? It's really
Yeah.
hard. And this is putting so much strain on my family, right? My husband is having to work so much harder to support us because my business is like draining us and this is just not working. And so even though my business had like um such a meaning driven purpose behind it, right? And it held so much meaning for me. Like I was at the point last year where I was like, I can't do this. Like I just can't do it. So I decided 2025 was my make it or break it year. And I
Okay.
went into the year just saying, like, I'm going for broke. I'm just pulling out all the stops and I'm doing literally everything in my power to make this business succeed. And if it doesn't, like I set this and I told my business coach, if by
Yeah.
December 31st, I have not hit my financial goal for 2025, like that's it. I'm going to go get a real job and, quote unquote, real job.
Yeah.
And I did everything in my power to make it succeed. And a lot of that was just really showing the fuck up on like in my content marketing, like really
Right. Like
just
be in
showing
here.
up and not being invisible. Yeah. And I hit my financial goal 6 months into the year. So yeah, I know. It was pretty cool. And I think more than the financial piece, it was like, oh yeah, like this is within my control. Like I have the tools in my control to like to make this impact. Um, and so now I can say like from this point, we just kicked off Q4 when we're recording this, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I have a plan in place to like actually look future forward for next year. Um, and so that's kind of the plan. One big thing that changed things for me this year was I did add back in that content marketing piece. And so I do these I call them my bold day of content, where it's basically a content VIP day. Clients pay me, hire me for a day and I just knock out a shit ton of content. And I'm leveraging AI, but in a super human driven
Human
way.
way. Say
Yeah,
it louder for
yeah.
the people in the back.
Human driven, human driven. AI is a tool. It is not the creator. And so I'm leveraging that to really create content at scale. And so the program that I'm planning to launch in January is basically teaching this method to business owners who are really feeling stuck in their content and don't know how to create the kind of content that they need to grow their business.
I think that's just, I didn't tell you this. I'm telling you now. And then everybody will hear it like 3 months from now. And I wonder what in the world the two of us will be doing. It'll be epic no matter what it is. But you had shared that with me the last time we spoke. And I was like, I had to like sit and think about it just because of how 2025 has panned out. And we are not going to go down that rabbit hole. Cause woof.
Ah,
But you had inspired me to like think about what is my VIP day? Like what does that look like? And nobody knows about this yet. They might by the time they hear this, of just like doing half days of rewriting websites, because website copy is 99% of most folks' problems.
yeah.
When I'm doing all the video audits that I do. And I was like, no, that is something that I could do in my sleep. And anyways, you inspired me. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. You're going to kill it. It's really like it's a very powerful thing, these one day or half day intensives. It creates this really powerful container both for you and for your clients, because what I found is like so many of my clients are used to, if they've hired agencies before, they're used to things just taking
A million
forever,
years.
right? Like, yeah, they're just used to things being so stressful and that like they have to do all this work and they're waiting around and they don't know when things are going to get to them and they don't know when things are going to go live, right? And there's just all this like uncertainty, and then they have a hard time trusting. And I'm like, no, here's how it's going to go. Here's the run of show of the day. And like, here's what to expect. And that just provides such a like cocoon of
Safety.
loveliness. Yeah. Like,
It's like a
it's
hug.
just, yeah, it's like a hug for the client. And then for me, I'm also like, my work stays within this container and like my responsibility stays within this container. And of course, there's like obviously I'm available for communication with my clients outside of that container, but like the bulk of my work is spent within that container. And so that's really freeing for me as a business owner too, because I can just like decide which days I'm going to book out as these VIP days.
That is so incredible. Just because people, to your point, and I don't know that I don't usually talk about myself on this podcast all that much. So anybody listening is probably gonna be like, "You do what?" It's fine, about you guys. But since we do very similar work, it's like the idea of having an intensive, to your point, like most rebrands take 9 to 11 months, and it just shouldn't take that long.
No.
I don't know at what point we decided that like time equated quality, but it doesn't. And in a world, especially from a content marketing standpoint, in a world that is churning so fast and there's like so much that has to be put out into the world just to be remembered, let alone even acknowledged to go buy from you, the speed and quality in which that you and I both do in our work is so valuable, and more people, especially more women, since that's who we serve, need to know about it.
Yeah.
And it is a beautiful thing, because at the end of the day, some days it just feels like it is a race towards who can be seen first. And I don't know that it felt that way 10 years ago when we were both in jobs. Like it was starting. Like, gosh, how old is Instagram now? We don't need to talk about it. I remember when I started mine in line for a bar because my friends told me I had to have one. Yeah. So back when it was just about pictures, and we can scroll all the way back on my personal Instagram and see like 22-year-old Raylan.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's just a different world now. And I think it's pretty incredible that we were able to get people's stuff done so fast when, to your point, other agencies, it's not really the case.
Yeah. And I think that you're picking up on a good point too, is that like there is this like race to be seen, and we do need to produce a lot of content to stay on top of people's radars. But I think what's really, really important is that if you create garbage content, like it doesn't matter how much you're staying on top of people's feeds. If people don't like what they're seeing from you, or they don't feel seen through your content, like it doesn't matter how much you're putting out there. I follow some people on Instagram who are like big proponents of, you know, post 5 times a day, and that's how you're going to grow your following, and that's how you're going to grow your business. And it's like, if you're posting that much, I guarantee you it's garbage. Like it is garbage.
There's no
But yeah, there's no way. And you have to just think about like, is that worth it? Is that worth your time? Um, but we do have to like strike this balance of, we need to be producing enough content, and enough is a relative term, right? Like
Yep.
we need to figure out what that means for each client. Like, what does that mean for you? Which platforms are actually important for you? Because like, if your clients are hanging out on LinkedIn, I'm sorry, you should not be spending time on TikTok videos. Like, it's just like,
please stop.
please stop. Please stop. Like, it's just, you're just wasting your time, right? So being really intentional about where you're posting, how often you're posting, that fits within your life and your bandwidth, right? And then creating enough content that feels like you, and is really like your voice and your connection with your clients, and it has that really clear emotional I can't speak. That that clear emotional resonance. And if it doesn't have all of those factors, like don't even bother. Don't bother. So I think that that's the key, is that like we need to create enough content to stay on top of people's minds, but it needs to be good content.
Like fully and truly good content. And I'm going to add one thing on top of that. When you go to hire people to do it, you need to be very mindful that you understand to a certain degree your own systems, your own processes, your own voice. Because if you do not understand those things and you just offload it to somebody else, that's another quick way to get garbage. And if they're not asking questions about that, that should be just a resounding red flag.
Yeah, yeah. So actually I start and I think you and I have a very similar like starting process for our
Stratford.
projects. Yeah, so when someone comes to me for Bold Day of content, and most of my clients are coming for like recurring Bold Days of content, 1 day or 2 days or 3 days a month. And I always start them with the strategy, right? I say I need to understand who you are as a brand, what you stand for, what's your voice, why are you like why do you exist at all? What are we trying to accomplish here? Then I can build content that's going to really speak to your dream clients and really bring that voice to life. But yeah, I agree. If you're just hiring a content agency that doesn't understand who you are and why you exist and what your voice is, like you're going to get garbage.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I mean, I've seen it in how people pitch me on they want to do work with me. And then they'll like do a rebrand thing to show me their work of my stuff. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no. The compliment that I love hearing, that I will never ever get sick of hearing, is when somebody meets me in person and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're just like your brand," or "Your brand is so bold. Like, I love that you'll just say the thing." And I'm like, "Well,
Hmm.
surprise. Same thing in person." Like, I'm going to just say the thing and smile and look like the beaches behind me at all times.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
those are just the things I think about when people are getting that content out. They're really trying. Um, and I mean, you know what? This is not to yuck somebody's yum. If you are at least trying and at least showing up, like that's at least step one. We're just trying to take you to a higher level. So we
Absolutely.
will give you
Yeah.
credit for that.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing though is like, as small business owners, like we're all strapped for time, right? Like we just don't have the bandwidth to be pouring effort into something that's not going to yield the results that we want. And so like that's really what I'm trying to focus on here. Not, if you're putting effort into content, absolutely. Like that's amazing.
Go.
But let's funnel that same effort into more strategic, like making sure that that content is really getting you what you want to be getting, right?
You
And
want.
if you don't have that foundation, like you're gonna really struggle to make that connection.
It's all about working on the right hard things. And if we're
Yeah.
working on the right hard things, like you're going to be beyond successful faster. You'll figure them out
Hmm.
eventually. Like we have to make mistakes. So to Rachel's earlier point, the first year was an experiment. My first year was you're forced to take this experiment. Um, and I swear every year is an experiment, if I'm being completely honest. I think I might be in LinkedIn jail right now. So
Oh no.
every single time somebody looks at my impressions versus how many followers I have, yet my following is forever growing and I don't understand. Um,
LinkedIn has become just this big mystery these days. I don't know what they're doing with that algorithm.
there's something is going on in the background. Like I don't understand. Me and you could talk about this one offline, though I'm sure people
Yeah.
are like, what do you mean?
Well,
Y'all,
by the time this goes live, the algorithm will have changed
they'll
7
fix itself.
times.
Yeah.
So,
So we're not gonna get into the nuances of WTF LinkedIn, but
yeah.
we're thinking it as those of us who show up on it on a regular basis. So with all this said and done, with knowing that LinkedIn is on the fritz, knowing that you're going to start to go into group coaching and having these beautiful VIP days, is there any ways that your marketing strategy is adapting to this new brand growth, or are you keeping on?
Yeah, I would say I'm feeling pretty like locked in on my marketing right now. I am planning to ramp things up, which might if anyone listening to this already follows me, they're probably going to be like, "How are you ramping things up?" Because I'm already like really showing up everywhere. There are certain things that have been in the back burner, like that I've wanted to focus on more. So I have like completely neglected my blog on my website. Like I think I just published a blog post a few weeks ago for the first time in like a year, like I think literally a year. And so like I want to be doing more of that. I have a podcast too, so that's where I've focused most of my efforts over the last year or so has been like my podcast and then Instagram, LinkedIn. Those have been my main marketing channels, but I'm a writer at heart. Like that's how, if you ask me like what's one word that you use to define yourself, like writer is first and foremost. And so I kind of feel like I've like gotten away from that piece of myself. And so I want to get back to it. Both with a blog, I probably want to start a LinkedIn newsletter. Those are I know I don't have one yet, which is crazy. So yeah, so I have like things that I've just kind of neglected, and so that's why I just hired a marketing intern to pick up some of the pieces with some of the other things that I've been focusing on until now, so that I have the bandwidth to focus on some other areas of my marketing. But I think that it's going to stay mostly the same. It's just going to ramp up a bit.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's I guess, well, let me just be stuck on the fact that you don't have a LinkedIn newsletter yet. That's probably like my biggest one of my biggest drivers is my LinkedIn newsletter. So, and then I like fell off the marketing turnip truck for a hot minute there on mine, but it's still to this day, even jumping back into it. I think that thing grows faster than my actual email list does.
Wow. Okay, that's a good kick in the butt for me.
And then they email it out to anybody who subscribed to you. So it's like having another email list in a weird way.
Okay. You just gave me a kick in the butt. I'm going to start this really soon.
Okay. So I've got two last fun questions for you. It's so funny that I said that. I had somebody who posted her podcast episode today on LinkedIn, and she was like, she asked me so many difficult questions I didn't know. I was like, I love you, but was I that tough? I am known for tough love. It's all good. Rachel, what does a day living a luxurious life look like for you?
Oh, that's a great question. Also, great timing because again, this is one of the exercises I did for my manifesting was like, what does my dream life look like? So I think for me it's so much about just knowing that I have the time and space to focus on creative pursuits, my martial arts practice, spending time with the people that I love, traveling, eating good food, right? There's just a lot of that. And then also just knowing, like, I kind of feel like I already have the piece. I have a lot of those pieces, but just knowing I have all of it. But, this feeling of knowing that the work that I'm doing is making a positive impact in the world. And so like that piece, I feel like I've really, really invested in the last year. But work has a little bit spilled over too much these days into other parts of my life. So that's going to be a big focus for the coming year, is just really making sure that I have space for those other pieces.
I love it. Luxurious days are closer than we think, or sometimes we forget we get to live them in real time.
Yeah.
You know, those beautiful things. Well, last one, best one. Maybe. We try. In one word, not the way you answered it last time, what is your primary motivation in business?
Impact.
Impact. Why? See, I told you it can't be last one.
I believe I'm here on this earth to do more than just like have an impact on more than just my little corner. I think that I can have a much bigger impact on the world. And I also think that you don't need to be like I don't know, Jeff Bezos of the world to make an impact, right? Like you don't need to have billions of dollars. You don't need, right? Like we all can have such a bigger impact than we think. And so that's really why I work with mission-driven women, because I'm like, every time I help them have a bigger impact in their corner, like I'm part of that. and like all the people that they're impacting on a positive level, I'm part of that. So yeah.
That is beautiful. Well, I was so grateful to have you on the show. You're absolutely incredible. How can folks find you?
Yeah, my website is honeybebold.com. I'm on LinkedIn. You can just find me, Rachel Honeyman. I'm very active on Instagram. I have lots of fun on Instagram. So, yeah, any of those places, you can email me at hey@honeybebold.com. And yeah, wherever you like to hang out, I'm probably there.
Probably. Internet queens over here will be
Yeah.
there in every corner. Well, absolutely incredible. So thank you everybody who listens. We couldn't have the show without you, to be quite honest. So hope that you're getting to wherever you're going safely. And if you are at home watching this, thanks for taking a peek at our beautiful faces and our brilliant words. Until then, everybody, take a Luxe Leap and just enjoy the journey. Talk to all you soon. Bye.